I got eyes open wide and a back in my head, and every shake makes your silhouette. 'Cause I miss you, yeah, I miss you, I miss you.
It is January 1st, 2023, and what a year that 2022 has been. It has not been a good year at all. Uh, it has been a very rough road. There's been a lot of things that have happened in 2022 that have just really been difficult. In April, I started this. I started this trucking company, and the start out on it was really rough. I started with a partner who had originally started setting everything up, and in April he told me, "Okay, it's ready for you to come in and finish things up." Well, when I came in April, things were not ready for me to start. Nothing had been done. And the things that had been done had not been done correctly. So it was a it was real difficult. It wasn't until June 1st of 2022 that we actually got our authority, and even with that, there were issues. So, any rate, that is, I was working. I was doing hopper bottom, and I wanted to start this trucking company, and I got involved with a partner who really didn't know anything about transportation, and that did not work out. So originally we were talking about doing Hot Shot, and as we were starting to do this, all of a sudden the rates on Hot Shot just they bottomed out. The Hot Shot market went belly up. There was just nothing out there to make any money, and we had already invested in 3 trailers, and there was just no money in it. So we wound up getting stuffed on the trailers because it was going to be a losing cause to even try to do Hot Shot. It was not worth it. So, any rate, when I originally started, as you can see, my office now is in the basement of my house. When I originally started, I started with my office out in the garage, and I thought that was going to work out for me. It did not, and I ended up having to eventually move my office down to the basement. I don't have any. My garage is not attached to my house, and there's no sort of heating or cooling out there, and it just wasn't going to work through the summer. Forget even talking about the winter. I was going through an extreme amount of propane trying to keep it heated out there, and that just wasn't working for me. But after we left Hot Shot, we started. I got another guy signed on with me who was doing power only loads, and so he didn't own any trailers, but he had some semis, and we started doing power only, and that was a rough start. It was okay in the beginning, but it really wasn't producing the way that it was a get me by thing. And he wound up renting a dry van, and we did some stuff with that. The rates weren't real good on that, and I talked him into going to Hopper. And all of this time, we had a really hard time recruiting drivers. It was very difficult. Drivers in today's industry are extremely difficult to find. It's hard to find competent, experienced drivers, and that has been an ongoing issue. And that is to say that just because somebody has, 10, 20, 30 years of driving experience does not mean they are competent or good at their job. And that was one of the things that we have been running into is people who say they're experienced, but, they really aren't. They don't. I don't mind hiring someone and teaching them our system, but when some of the guys that we have hired in the past didn't even know basic trucking 101 stuff that they should have been, they should have already known for the amount of time that they have been in trucking. I am not a truck driving school. We're a trucking company, and when we hire someone who says that they have, a few years of experience, we assume that they have a few years of experience. And we have run into a couple of cases where people get lost, they don't know how to route. I had one guy at one point that, man, this guy was bad, and he lasted about 6 days. He was really bad. I don't know who his trainer was, but he was not very good. That guy was a nightmare. But any rate, and then drivers have been extremely difficult to find. And then toward the latter part of the year, I can't remember what month. Time is just. I lose track of when certain things happened this last year, and so many things have happened. But I wound up getting COVID in the latter part of 2022. I think it was in September or October, and around that same time, my beloved companion Kaylee died suddenly. And that was extremely difficult to deal with. And I had COVID at that time, and COVID was hitting me hard. I mean, I had COVID it had to have been 3 weeks, if not a month. It was bad. I was not having a good time at all, and I literally felt like I wanted to die. It was that bad. At any rate, so that caused me a lot of problems because I'm the only guy that does my job, and I still had to work even though I could barely move because I was so sick. Right before Thanksgiving, we had a load rejected because the trailer was not cleaned properly. The broker had said that a washout was not required, clean sweep was fine. They inspected it where it got loaded, and then where we went to get unloaded, the load was rejected for contamination. And that is when I realized that the cargo insurance that we had through our insurance company had some very, very fine print that said that unless the truck was involved in an accident, had caught on fire, or the load was stolen, that we did not have cargo insurance. And that was a really, really bad situation. And currently we are working to resolve that, where we actually have real cargo insurance. So I'm currently in the process of switching from the agent that I have now to a new agent that is more experienced with the trucking world. When I brought up this cargo insurance thing to the agent said, well, there's nobody that carries that kind of insurance. And she said, but I'll try to help you find something. And what she sent me, I kid you not, what she sent me was a link for cargo insurance for cargo ships. And that's when I realized that I needed to change my insurance agent, that they really didn't have a clue. So car haulers, they have insurance to cover cars. Reefer, refrigerated vans, they have insurance to cover if something goes wrong. And there is bulk insurance for guys like me who haul bulk products. There is insurance to cover that. There's insurance out there for your particular type of trucking, and my insurance agent was just clueless. So, yeah, that was bad. And that happened, like I said, the day before Thanksgiving. That trailer right now, as we speak, on January 1st, 2023, is still sitting loaded in California, and we are trying to find a place to either sell it, get rid of it, because it is a very specialized product, and it's just not something that can go anywhere. And that load is around $22,000 for 25 tons of product. So that's not good, and we're dealing with that going into 2023. It is not a good situation. So another problem that I've been having is dealing with challenging personalities. Now, everywhere you go in life, you are going to run into people that you do not click with. And in my particular situation, that is, it's difficult for me, because normally I avoid people that I don't particularly care for. Well, that's not possible in my position, where it might be someone who works for me that I have problems relating to, or has a challenging personality. And we've all met people who have challenging personalities that, they might be good people, but you particularly do not get along with them, or don't think much of them. And and that's life. Not everybody's going to get along with someone else. Not many people like me, and I don't care, because they don't pay my bills. So it never bothered me when people don't like me, and I'm that sort of person where if you don't like me, I'd prefer you tell me you didn't like me, and then I know where I stand. And going off subject here for a moment, that was one of the problems I had living in the South, is you never knew where you stood with people in the South, because they would pretend they liked you, or they would say they liked you, or they would act like they liked you, when in reality they did not like you. They were just being polite. And me being from Detroit, and growing up the way that I did, if I do not like someone, they know it. And it is difficult in my business, because I have an employee-employer relationship with people that I might not particularly care for on a professional or on a personal level, but I have to deal with them professionally and respectfully, because that is what is expected from a professional. So that has been one of my biggest things, because I'm not a people person, and dealing with challenging different personalities that don't necessarily mesh with my own personal preferences is something that I have had to mature and grow as a human being to accept. But anyway, going into 2023, we currently have 5 trucks. We've got 2 Freightliner Cascadias, a Peterbilt 389, a Peterbilt 579, and a Peterbilt 567. Yes, I believe that's correct. Looks like the 567 reminds me very much of an updated T800. It's got the more flatter nose on it, as opposed to rounded. In the old days, the Kenworth T600 and the Kenworth T800 were almost identical trucks, except for the front. The T600 was rounded, the T800 was flat, but other than that, they were identical. But at any rate, looking into 2023, we're looking at growing, and we'll see. When I do my January 2024 update, we'll see how correct I have been, and whether I have succeeded in doing the things that I wanted to do in 2023. I know that 2022 has been a very, very rough year. There have been a lot of challenges along the way, and I hope that 2023 brings me more success and more prosperity. So I appreciate you watching this long ass video, but your old pal Grumpy has to get back to doing whatever I'm doing on this January 1st. So you guys take it easy, and thanks for following. If you are not a follower of mine on TikTok, please follow me there at GrumpyBiker67 on TikTok. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching me here. Like and subscribe.